Imagine stepping onto a bus for the very first time in a new town, clutching your backpack, hoping to blend in quietly. But instead of kindness, you're met with cruel whispers, mocking laughter, and hands pushing where they don't belong. That's what happened to a new girl one morning, until a single dad, sitting silently a few rows away, made a decision that would change her entire world. Stay with me till the end, because this isn't just a story about bullying, it's about courage, unexpected heroes, and the kind of love and respect that transforms lives forever. The bus was unusually loud that Monday morning. The kind of loud where kids shout across seats, earbuds leak music, and the driver stares straight ahead, pretending not to notice. At the very back sat two boys, Jason and Trevor, both known troublemakers. They thrived on attention, always searching for someone weaker to tease. That day, their eyes landed on Emily, the new girl. She had just moved to town after her mother passed away, now living with her aunt. Emily was shy, with soft brown hair that she nervously tucked behind her ears. She sat near the middle, hoping no one would notice her. But of course, bullies always notice. Jason nudged Trevor and whispered, "Fresh meat." They slid out of their seats and walked toward her. Emily tried to shrink into herself as their shadows loomed. "Hey, new girl, what's in the bag?" Trevor snatched at her backpack. She clutched it tightly. Jason laughed. "What, got baby toys in there? Or maybe your diary?" They mocked her voice, tugged her hair, and shoved her shoulder hard enough to make her stumble against the seat. The bus filled with laughter from kids too afraid to intervene. Some looked away, some smirked nervously, and Emily's face burned with humiliation. Her eyes filled with tears, but she refused to cry. Crying would only make it worse. She whispered, "Please, just stop." That's when Jason reached for her wrist, yanking her hand off the backpack. Emily gasped in pain. "Poor little princess," he sneered. Trevor shoved her again, harder this time, and she fell back against the cold window. And then silence. Not from the bullies, but from someone else rising to his feet. Near the front of the bus, a tall man who had been quietly reading a folded newspaper slowly stood up. He wasn't a teacher, nor a school staff member. He was just a single dad named Daniel, riding with his own son because their car had broken down that week. He had kept to himself, but now his eyes burned with anger. He walked steadily down the aisle, the kind of steady that makes even the loudest rooms go quiet. Jason and Trevor froze, still holding Emily's bag. "Put it down," Daniel said, his voice calm yet commanding. The boys laughed nervously. "What's it to you, old man?" Jason smirked, but his bravado was fading. Daniel leaned down, his eyes level with theirs. "That's not how men behave. If you think hurting a girl makes you strong, you don't know strength at all." His voice carried such weight that even the bus driver turned his head. Emily's heart raced. For the first time since stepping onto that bus, she felt safe. Someone was finally standing up for her. The boys dropped her bag. Trevor muttered something under his breath, but Daniel straightened up, towering over them. "Apologize." "Now." They hesitated until Daniel's stare hardened, then muttered, "Sorry." But Daniel wasn't finished. He looked at the rest of the bus and said firmly, "You all sat here and watched. Kindness isn't silent. Remember that." His words hit deeper than any scolding could. The ride continued in silence, but Emily sat straighter now, clutching her bag, stealing a glance at the man who had just changed everything. When the bus reached the school, Jason and Trevor bolted off quickly, humiliated. Daniel helped Emily gather her things. "You okay?" he asked gently. Emily nodded, but her voice wavered. "Thank you, nobody's ever stood up for me before." Daniel smiled warmly. "You don't owe me thanks. You deserved respect from the start." Emily's eyes watered again, but this time from relief. For a girl who had lost so much, her home, her mother, her sense of belonging, those words mattered more than anyone realized. Daniel's son Lucas came over. "You can sit with me at lunch if you want," he offered shyly. Emily smiled for the first time that day. Over the next few weeks, things began to change. At first, Jason and Trevor tried to act tough, but word spread about how they were put in their place by Lucas's dad. Other kids who had stayed silent on the bus started to regret it. Slowly, some reached out to Emily, apologizing for not helping, offering to walk with her between classes. But the biggest change wasn't in the bullies. It was in Emily herself. She started holding her head higher, raising her hand in class, even laughing again. Her aunt noticed the difference at home. "You seem lighter, Emily," she said one evening. Emily just smiled and thought of that moment on the bus. One afternoon, Emily saw Daniel waiting outside school to pick up Lucas. She ran up to him. "Mr. Daniel." He turned. "Yes, Emily." She hesitated, then said softly, "The day on the bus you didn't just stop them. You showed me that I'm worth standing up for. I'll never forget that." Daniel's eyes softened. He put a hand on her shoulder. "Don't forget it, because it's true. And one day, you'll stand up for someone else the same way." When she did. Months later, when she saw a younger student being teased in the hallway, Emily stepped in without hesitation. Her voice trembled at first, but she remembered Daniel's strength, and the bullies backed off. That moment wasn't just about protecting someone else, it was proof that she had found her courage. Closing message. And so, what started as a cruel attack on a quiet new girl turned into a story of transformation, not only for Emily, but for everyone who witnessed it. All because one single dad refused to stay silent. His presence didn't just stop bullies, it gave Emily the strength to believe in herself again. If this story moved you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs reminding. Sometimes one act of courage can change a life forever.